Thank you, Melissa, for catching that. All right, I'm still getting used to new software. Let me know if you can hear me now. I found something that was muted. I'm going to give it a minute to catch up and see if everyone's got that. I don't know why it keeps changing settings like that. Let me know if it's working now. Gotta wait for that delay to come through. Okay, Vicky says he can hear you now. All right, the comments are a little behind me in real time, so I had to wait a minute. Phew, okay. It decided to change a setting on me, and let me go back real quick. Let's make sure that it's coming through. Yep, it's coming through the right thing. Maybe something was messed up from when Leah and I went live together last week using this and had some echo issues, so I had to kind of change some things around. So either way, yay for it working now. So let me try that again. Welcome everybody. Thanks for putting up with my few minutes of bumps of figuring out new technology. I'm using Ecamm Live, which isn't something I'm super familiar with, so I'm kind of learning it on the fly. I really like it. I'm just kind of trying to get used to it, so you know how that goes. All right, how is everyone doing today? I know it's only Tuesday, so the week is young. We're enjoying a little bit of snow here in Washington State, which is kind of unusual for us. We don't get a lot of that. We've kind of been hoping for it all year, and this is one of those years where we get to February where we're starting to go, well, you know, snow would be nice, but we're starting to kind of mentally be ready for spring. And then surprise, here we go, we get some snow. So, all right. Oh, Holly, no worries at all. Take care of your mom. Hope she's doing okay. Hi, Cheryl. Glad that you could make it. And Lucy from London, welcome. All right. See, Michael Rutledge is on there. And of course, Leah is there. My crafty bestie. Thank you, Amy. All right. Well, now that we've got a few people on here, we've got the sound working, everything's kind of going how it should. Oh, goodness, 8 degrees in Minnesota and minus 28. Cheryl, that reminds me of when we lived in Wyoming and we would get super duper cold. I think the lowest I ever saw was minus 38 Fahrenheit, which oddly enough, I think that's where it kind of meets up with Celsius, so it's actually the same. So yeah, Leah says for 6 degrees. It was like 20, mid-20s today, but snowy and cold and goodness. All right, I'm going to switch the camera around and we're going to go ahead and get started on what I have for you guys today. So this is a little bit of an older set. As always, I've linked everything in the video description. Also, I'll mention this at the end, but if you watched the combined live that Leah and I did last week, check both of our channels. We posted our winner yesterday and tag them. So Donna, Marysville. Yep, you're just a little bit south of me. Welcome. Hi, Louis Shaw. All right, so I'm going to use a little bit of an older floral set. This technique will work with any good large, especially a good intricate floral image. And this is one of my favorite old ones. And I haven't pulled it out in a while. You can tell it's old because I didn't keep my packaging back then. I just put it in the sleeve. Now I keep all of that on there, but it's still a favorite, so I still have it. But it's called Beautiful Flowers. It's got some really great, beautiful sentiments on here. The star of the show is that really big, large floral. And then there's a couple other little add-on ones that are super fun as well. I don't have the coordinating dies, but you don't need them for what we're going to do today. So super excited to share that with you. So first things first, in fact, should I show you the card I tested out? We're going to do a little different colors and some different things, but maybe I'll show you the card I made yesterday to test this out. So you kind of have an idea of what we're doing. All right, you ready? This is what we're going to do. So we've got some colored cardstock stripes. This is optional, but wrapping some thread around there kind of adds a little bit of an extra three-dimensional. Melissa, yes, this is a Simon Says set. Call it one of my original. It's just one I've had for a really long time and really love. So this is kind of what we're going to create today. We're going to change up the colors a little, just use some fun bright colors and use that beautiful floral image. So first things first, let's get that stamped on here. Now this is, for this technique, it's going to be super duper important to make sure that we are using, oh, I did that. I got my magnets stuck together. Okay, we want to make sure that we really are getting that stuck up in that left corner. But while I get that done, I'm going to keep the magnets out of the way for now. All right, let's pull off that really big, beautiful image. And I'm going to decide how I want, I think last time I kind of did it like this. Maybe we'll go up, let's just kind of reverse it and do up the other side. So I'm actually going to swing my Misty around to make this work. I think we'll just do that. I kind of want to play with it and reverse it. So we'll do it a little bit of a different direction and kind of make it fit in there. Something like that. Something along those lines. Let's angle it a little more. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Looks fun. All right, we're going to pop that on there. So again, let's pick this up on the Misty lid. Let's see. Barb, is the cropped left corner a thing? So when I get to that part of doing that corner, I'll kind of explain why I do it. I don't know if it's really a thing. It's something I like to do, and I kind of have something in my brain that why I do it. So when I get there, I'll kind of explain why I like doing that sometimes. Oh, Mercedes, you had it and donated it. See, a similar one. Again, there's lots of other good floral stamps from pretty much any company that'll work for this. All right, so I'm making sure that that's snug up in that corner because we want this to be able to line up well again. I'm actually gonna flip my paper over because I notice I've got a little smudge on there and I don't want to mess with that. Okay, so we're gonna make sure it's up in that left corner. Oops, I didn't push it super hard on my Misty. Let's make sure that's out of the way. All right, left corner ready to go. I'm gonna ink this up with Nocturne VersaFine Clair. It's kind of, I think it's by the same, yep, it's the same company. I still love this one for the really small, dainty things, but when it's more solid or just a big, intricate, this one does a really great job of getting a really crisp, deep image on a single stamp. Now you kind of have to be a little careful. Oh, I almost did it again. Okay. Yes, the other day I was crafting with Leah, just on a video chat. We were goofing around together and my lid popped off and I just smooshed my thumb into the ink and my whole thumb was black. You can still see there's, I don't know if it shows, there's a few little kind of stains in there in the dry cracks of my winter hands. So it's a very, very juicy ink pad. We'll just say that. So I'm tapping really lightly because, again, if you smoosh down hard, you'll probably get way more than you bargained for. All right, one more confirming that's up in the left corner. And then let's get this image stamped really well on our background. Beautiful, that's perfect. One stamp and we've got that beautiful image really crisp and well stamped on there. I'm not going to worry about cleaning my stamp now because we are going to use it again, but I am going to spray, this is my rubbing alcohol. Just going to clean the ink off of my Misty mouse pad because I don't want to leave that sitting there to dry on there. And then I'm going to set this aside and we'll come back. I still have a black thumb in more ways than one, Leah, probably in more ways than one. All right. So, man, I just love that image. Even on its own, it needs nothing else, and it's just absolutely stunning. It's definitely one of my favorites. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. We're going to just kind of let this dry. And let's pull out some cardstock and trim some strips of cardstock. I'm using, these are from Simon Says. Oops, that's my card base for later. We don't need that yet. These are from the Rainbow Splash cardstock assortment. And I've got a pack that I haven't opened yet there. And then I've got these, and I think these are kind of the colors I've settled on for today's card. And there's a bunch of really bright rainbow, any colored cardstock, any scraps, your favorite colors will work for this. So feel free to use whatever. Yes, Louise, absolutely. I love that we start to recognize and see the names on there and everything. Hi, Cynthia. Glad you made it. I do have a garden. Whoa, what happened to my color balance there? That got really weird. Is that just me? That like totally changed. Hold on. Let's see if that fixes itself. Bear with me for just a minute because something just went really wild on my color balance. And I don't know why it decided to do that. Okay, let's adjust this. Well, just like it went all wild and green on me and everything. So let's see if I can. All right, does that look more normal? Well, that was fun. All right. No idea what just happened there, but let's hope that that will fix and update. Maybe the cardstock threw it off, but that's really wild. Yeah, and then I take that's funny. All right, well, we might have to tweak that again. That's something new that, all right, hold on. Let me adjust one more thing here. I'm gonna just take the cardstock out of there. And then let's go back to our normal. So apparently it does not like that on there. Who knew? All right, I'm gonna just leave the cardstock out and pull it in one color at a time and hope that it won't do anything wild and crazy. That is a good, someone said something about bringing a piece of white cardstock in there. So let's see if that kind of helps it find its place again. All right, so I'm just gonna pull those colors in one at a time. Not gonna worry about a rainbow of them all at once that confuses it. Learn something new every day. All right, so I'm just gonna cut random widths of the strips of cardstock for this. I'm not measuring anything to exact. I want them all to be slightly different. So I'm starting with that light pink. I'll do a little bit bigger strip there of yellow. And then we'll come in here with a little, let's do a thinner strip of the green. All right, all of these are probably too big for what we're making here, but this one's a little bit of a smaller piece, but I think it'll still be long enough. Yeah, my light was not ready for spring. It's on winter mode. It's not ready for this nonsense, I guess, huh? And then let's do another, let's do a thin strip of the purple. So again, I'm just kind of varying all of the different sizes of the strips. And then a little bit in between there of the pink. That looks good. We can always trim another one if we don't like one of them, so. And it seems to not be so grumpy about just small pieces like this. So maybe it was just the way they were overlaying and overlapped together. Barb says it's the purple. Because did the purple do it? Hold on, I didn't see that when I read it. It is. Oh my goodness, that's really funny. All right, so we've got all of our fun little strips of color here. And I'm just gonna kind of play with where I want to arrange them. Now, one thing that's different, most of the time when I do this, I would put all of the strips touching together. But for this technique today, I'm leaving little gaps in there. So I'm just kind of coming up with a rough arrangement right now. This isn't, nothing is getting stuck down yet. Nothing is permanent. But something along those lines. So to conserve that cardstock so I don't waste it, because I cut them all a little bit bigger than they need to be, just gonna pull them down. All right. And then trim off the extra Nothing too perfect, but just enough that I can save all of those pieces for another project. And then I have those roughly ready to go where I want them to be. I'm gonna kind of just stick with, I think, along those, and I'm gonna use liquid glue. Laura Umbro, magic purple cardstock. Mercedes, not purple theme. Yep, my camera apparently doesn't love the purple. Who knew, right? All right, definitely seems like it's a little happier now, so that's good. All right, a little bit of liquid glue. We're just gonna run a little dab. I don't need it like squishing out the sides, just enough to hold it in place. All right, that's gonna be my first one, so that's setting my angle and my spot. And then same thing, just continue down. And a little bit of this is probably gonna seep over on my glass mat, but I'll just wipe it up when we're done. And I'm just gonna leave, because I only put glue down the center of the strip, it gives me a little time. First of all, I can wiggle it to get it in place where I want, but it's also not gonna show the glue seeping out because I didn't go all the way to the edges. Hello, Wendy. Welcome. No worries. That doorbell and that company that pops in, huh? All right, I'm just gonna put a little bit more glue there. I'm sliding it to the edge of my glass mat to grab hold of because I don't have very big fingernails, so I don't have much to get a hold of it with. Like Leah said, don't love purple, but that was particular. I know, that was like the camera was throwing a little bit of a hissy fit there. That was ridiculous. Like, if you don't like purple, just say so. You don't gotta make such a big deal out of it. Okay, pop that one in there. Louise Shaw is Team Purple. That is kind of an interesting purple tone, I'll say that. So maybe that had something to do with it, because it's kind of like on the purpley blue tones. I don't know what else to say there, but definitely don't feel like it's ever been that ridiculous before. All right, last one. Purple. Michael Rutledge says purple was my mother's and aunt's favorite color, so I always think of them. I always remember that there was a saying my mom used to say, and she did wear purple sometimes, but she wouldn't wear it a lot. And I think she'd always say, when there's some poem, when I'm an old woman, I shall wear purple. And so she was like, nope, I'm not old yet, so I'm not gonna wear it. But clearly she still liked the color. I think it was just an excuse when she didn't feel like wearing it. Amy says I need tweezers. You know, that might help, but I think with the glue, I probably would just make more of a mess of it. All right, so there is that pretty stripping. I'm not gonna be too picky about it because I am gonna trim this panel down, but for now I'm just gonna trim off from the back those excess little overhang bits because I need this to fit back into my MISTI to be able to stamp it again. Another option, if you didn't feel like using colored cardstock, that would be pretty easy on these, would be to just cut white strips and ink them up, or run your ink pad. You know, you could do ink to paper directly. Ink cubes would work really easy for that. And then you could totally customize your color that way also, which is kind of a nice little trick to know too. All right, so here's what we have on this panel for now. I think I've got all my extra glue off of here. So let's pull back out our MISTI, and this is where that little bit of magic happens. So again, make really sure you want it up in that left corner or right corner. Having a dyslexic moment. Get our magnets in place. And what we're gonna do, so the reason I did it in this step and directions, why I stamp first and I'm stamping again. I could have put all those strips on and stamped over the top, but you end up with the pressure of the stamp can't fit into all those little crevices, and also it can't get as close to those strips as it can if you stamp first and put it over the top. So this way you're going to have everything lined up perfectly and still have that really great image over the top. So making sure that's pressed up to the top there. I'm really going to focus on that section there, really just trying to mainly hit where those strips are. I don't really have to go all the way to the top to the bottom. Let's make sure I got all of that inked far enough up. Let's go. Yeah, that seems like that's good. I'm going to go a smidge lower here just to make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, are we ready? This is like the hold your breath moment. And pray that it lines up correctly and nothing moved. Ta-da! It did. Phew! Okay, making sure I just have everything fully stamped. Look at how cool that looks. Isn't that fun? All right, I'm gonna pull out my stamp cleaner real quick now that we're done stamping. I just wanna make sure that I get this stamp cleaned off well now, since I need to make more stamp cleaner too, as it turns out. All right, get as much of that black out of there as I can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, I've had this stamp for a while, so. Louise, yes, once I trim, that's part of why I trim them off. It's not as important for those not to hang off that edge on the right-hand side, or I'm sorry, on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side, yes, where it lines up in the MISTI, you would definitely need to, that's why you got to do it in that, trimming them off a little bit. All right, putting that away, then I can save this for later. And that has had, that ink takes a few seconds to dry before you want to bump it and do it. But how cool is that? It was one of those things, for some reason I've been having trouble sleeping at night for no particular reason. Not stressed, I'm just laying in bed wide awake in the middle of the night. So one of those ideas that popped in my head, and I had to try it yesterday because I wanted to make sure it worked before I moved on. But I love how it's kind of, you can see the design through those little gaps and openings. So it just gives, it almost looks like a prism falling across it with the light kind of shooting down the side. And I love that, yes, the bright colors like that are super fun too. All right, so this is where we're gonna trim this panel down just slightly more. I want it to be able to mat into my card base. So I'm gonna just take a little bit off of this side and a little bit off of down here. And kind of try and do roughly the same amount. And then I want to do a tiny bit off of this side as well. And then because I don't really want to ruin, oh, and I did it. I'm going to stamp my sentiment there. I must have gotten a little bit of black ink on my fingers there and I smudged ever so slightly. Let's see if I can quickly erase it there with, I think it actually mostly came off. Phew, if you get it quick enough, sometimes you can save it a little bit there. All right, and then since I took a little bit off this side, I'm going to take just a smidge more off of the bottom to make it match up, because I don't want to take, normally I go around all four sides, but I liked how that leaf was coming close to the top, so I didn't want to cut down into that. So that should give me a perfect amount for, let's see, where did I put? Ah, there it is, my card base. So this is just a cream colored card base. It's actually that same rainbow. Nope, this is just cream. So the Rainbow Splash also has one called Buttercream, which is a very similar color to that too. All right, let's pull the strips off. And now, make sure I trim that right so we have a perfect little border around all four sides. Okay, now I did say I promised I was going to talk a little bit about that rounded corner and why I like to do that. So if you look at this card design, and this is nothing technical as far as like, I don't know a whole lot of design ideas. This is just what goes on in my head and why I like to do this. So you've got these stripes that come down here that kind of pull your eye around here, and then you come up there and they point up, so it brings your eye there. Then you kind of have this bigger white open space. And I feel like hitting that rounded corner it makes your eyes just keep going in a circle because it gives a soft spot to land there and pull your eyes. It also kind of makes that space a little more interesting. Okay, I really need to clean my fingers off because I feel like I just keep getting little tiny black smudges, but okay. Stop touching the black ink, Heather. Talking to myself there. Okay, so that is why I like to do a rounded corner sometimes on certain areas. To me, it just has to do with kind of carrying the design around so that you, your eye wants to just kind of travel around. And it also makes just kind of like a little interesting touch in that slightly more, dare I say, boring corner. It's really not, but it's just like the most open white space. You could also do alternating corners because there's a little space down here and that would be a really cool look. A lot of times I do that opposite, or I'll round off the two top or the two bottom. But sometimes just doing one is kind of unique, or both sides. You know, you could do it to where it came around that way too. So lots of different options that way. Before I finish moving on with that, let's go ahead and add a sentiment on here because I think we've got the perfect little spot along that angle to add a sentiment. And I'm going to just pull out my Littler Misty for this. And let's grab a sentiment from the stamp set. So the last one I did Happy Birthday, but you know what? I kind of like that. You Are a Treasure to me. I think we'll mix it up and put that one on this one because it also fits in really well right around that leaf there without messing up that design there. So make sure my angle matches up with my stripes. Make sure that's pressed up in the corner where it's not going to move. I'm going to use that same Nocturne ink on there with a nice light touch so that I don't smush out the details on there. And look at that. One stamp and we've got a perfect sentiment. Same thing. I'm going to use, if I can squeak a little more. There we go. Just a smidge more stamp cleaner out of there to get that cleaned. I'll put that away real fast. And then this step is totally an optional step. I actually was just going to leave it like this originally on the card yesterday, but then I started playing with some metallic string as well. And I loved the extra little effect that that gave. At the beginning of that string. Rita, striking mounted on black. Yes, it would. I don't know if I have, okay. I don't have black cardstock, but this is just a black magnet, so you could kind of see how that would look. That would really pop and be super dramatic. I feel like that's kind of a Yana Smacula look because she does those really striking cards, but you're right, it would really pop on black and that would be quite lovely. I am going to stick with the cream, partly because I have it ready already, and I do like that really soft look with the bold colors. Louise, yes, it does. It snuggles right in there. All right, so what I want to do is add the twine so it pops into each of those little lines in between. To help kind of hold that in place, I'm going to grab some good sturdy adhesive. I'm going to use score tape. Carefully turn this over without messing things up. And I just want to put a little bit along the edge of the line where those stripes are. That's going to just wrap and provide a place to kind of hold that string in place so it doesn't come untangled. Someone else said mounted on gray would also be, that would be another great choice as well. All right, so now that I have this, I can peel these off real fast. I'm still going to tape them in place once I have them down, but this gives a little something to kind of help hold it in place. So there's those two adhesive strips right behind the area where this is, and I'm going to take a little extra there. We're going to wrap around starting at, make sure that, there we go, the adhesive is right there where that comes around that spot. And then I'm just going to wrap around back to that other spot there, stick it down on that adhesive, pull some more of that string off, wrap it around in that little opening again, make sure it's adhering down on both sides. That really does help hold it in place. stick. So each spot I'm just sticking it down on that adhesive from the back side. Just keep pulling some more of that off. This twine, I do have it linked below. It's Mayart's, and it is metallic. I don't remember exactly. It's just a metallic gold cord, kind of. It's really elegant. It's a great size for tying bows on cards, where it's a little heavier than just like gold thread, so it's easier to tie. Get this garbage off of the space here. All right, and then that is the final wrap, because I'm only going on the spaces that are kind of in between there. So I'm going to trim some of that off. And then, once we make sure that that is stuck down and going where we want, I'm going to make sure to anchor this in place with just some trusty Scotch tape. So I'm going to use that to go over right where those are to kind of just ensure they're really firmly held in place. And nothing will shift. And then I'm also going to run just a piece of tape down the middle that'll hold those ends so nothing comes untwined at all either. So now you've got that really fun thin gold touch that I feel like it adds almost like an optical illusion, like there's like this gold layer in between, which is super fun. All right, so let's grab a little bit of foam tape here, and I'm going to just run right over. That cord isn't so thick that it's going to be a problem going on the card base with that. I could do a full foam panel, but I'm just going to add some foam tape for this particular one because I think that'll just be easier today. I did make myself a bunch more foam panels yesterday. All right, that one is all ready. So I think I forgot to add onto my link list what bling I wanted to add. So you know we're gonna have to add some sparkle on here. So I'll probably stick with what I did on the other one and then just link that. I might have gotten it on there. I'm gonna check my list. Let's see if I linked this one. Pearls. I did. Okay, good. Well, we are all set to go then. Let me grab those real fast. So many different options and ways, but these were super fun on here. I really liked Honeybee. They're just true pearl stickers, and there's some kind of more cream ivory and some white ones. I think the other card I did the more white ones, and I think on this one, look how fun those are. Both of them going a different angle for a different look too. I'm going to do the slightly more ivory ones on here, I think, just for fun. So I'm just going to tuck a few little, they're self-adhesive, so super duper easy just to grab them and kind of tuck them in there. Probably could use tweezers or something to add them, but just snuggle them in there in a few little spots. And you know what? I thought we would need so much more time for this today, and this is like half-hour card and we're about done. All right, let's see. Let's just tuck a couple more up in here, I think. It's impossible to have too much bling, right? All right. And there is our second card, all done and ready. Version 1. Nope, version 2. This was today's. This was yesterday's version. So this one is a little bit more bold. There's the orange and that darker blue and only the darker pink, and then just the lighter green and a darker yellow too from that set. This one is slightly more pastel, but still a little bit of the bolder, darker colors too. So same color pack and just slightly different looks. I know, I love them. I love looking at them side by side. Do you guys want a sneak peek of, I haven't photographed them yet, but I'll be posting them soon. Since we're kind of on like those black outline florals, I can give you a little sneak peek at some other cards I'm going to be posting this week if you want a little sneak preview. Let me pop this one off to the side. And these ones I actually made, so after I made this card yesterday, Leah and I were on, that was when we were crafting together. So after I finished that, I had the leftover strips from that and I wanted to use them on something. So this is just another way to use a solid outline stamp. And I took all those strips. So this is that really big, it's called anemone wreath. That is really hard to say for me. And I'd stamped it on a big panel right in the middle and then cut it in half. So these are 2 cards. And then I just picked the warmer strips on one of them and the cooler ones on the other, and then added some coordinating dazzling gems. So I'll get photos of these and I'll post these again too. But I didn't realize how this is kind of really satisfying with the angles there and then this coming down. It's just, it's like a complete view there. So, you know, I'll probably use the leftover strips from this to create something else similar to, because we can't waste those, but hopefully that gives you a couple ideas. If you have those pretty outline floral stamps, I love coloring. I love pulling out my watercolors and doing them, but sometimes it's really fun to have something that takes a little less time. Yes, all about the paper stripping this week. Yeah, Louise, it makes a house. That's why it's so satisfying. I think that that's part of it. All right, so a couple ideas, and then the other cards, I'm just going to pull them out since we've got time. These are posted on my blog today, but this is that same set as this, same wreath stamped and split in the middle like that. But I heat embossed it with clear ink, added ink blending over the top. So another way that you don't necessarily need to add color, but a totally different, I love how these are the same set, but it's totally different, changing the perspective so it's horizontal. And yes, everyone saying houses built of cards. That's fun. All right, so I'm going to switch my camera around. It was quick today, but you know what? I'm just going to let you guys be free to go and enjoy your day. I mean, we could keep rambling on here for forever, but that's not really something we need to do. I'm going to mention a couple things real quick that we had talked about a little bit at the beginning. So I just want to touch on. If you watched the live with Leah and I last week, we both posted our winners. I know she caught her winner here in the live, and my brain is blanking out who my winner was, but it is posted on that video on my channel. If you just go under my lives and live streams, you'll be able to see that there. And make sure and email me so I can send you your fun little crafty parcel. And then everything I use today is linked in the video description, so you can find it there. I also really am grateful if you hit the thumbs up. I'm so thankful for all of you guys watching. That thumbs up is just going to kind of help my reach, as my channel has been so neglected for so long, and I'm finally just kind of bringing it back to life, which has been fun. So that'll kind of help everybody find it. One other thing I'm going to mention, I will be posting soon. I have some de-stash boxes. It was time to purge my craft room. It was really getting overstuffed and really full. So if you are interested in those, keep an eye out. I'll probably post them on social media. And then one other thing that I'm doing, I have, since we were talking a little bit about houses built of cards, I have a bunch of cards that I have all packaged up in little bundles of padded envelopes. And thank you, Leah. She just posted the winner there. I'll announce that again too, in case she's here. But I have them all bundled up. They're a mix of older cards, a little bit newer. I added up, and I don't remember, I want to say it was somewhere between 10 and 15 cards. And I'm going to send those out to anyone who's interested. I know I'm probably talking to the wrong crowd here since you guys all make your own cards. But if you didn't know about the name for my blog and what I use on everything, the House is Built of Cards, all of my cards that I make, I sell them 100% by donation. And all of the money goes to a ministry called Sister Connection. They build houses for widows and their orphans in Burundi, Africa. There was a large civil war many years ago, and there were almost the majority of a generation of men were wiped out. So many casualties, and there were tons of women left homeless, destitute, kids left orphans. And in that culture and society, that kind of leaves you with no worth and no value. So when I first started card making and crafting and everything, I had to come up with a blog name. And at the time, my kids they were pretty little, and they talked about this ministry at our church, and they had just lobbed onto it. And every night they would pray for the women and kids that didn't have a home. I wasn't going to get emotional, but here we go. Anyway, just one of those things when your kids are invested in something. And that was kind of where the blog name came from. I started selling my cards at church, just putting them out in a basket because I had so many more that I could use. And all that money went to that. At the time, it was $400 to build a house. That has gone up to $850 now, which is still unbelievable in our economy. I think it's just baffling to think about that. So anyway, I will be posting those, just envelopes and bundles of cards. So if that's something you're interested, keep an eye on that. I'm just going to put a set price. I will cover the shipping personally. So all of the money that goes for that will go directly to that cause. And if you want to donate more, you're absolutely welcome. I'll just set a minimum to make it worth it. But I think I have 10 or 15 bundles of those. So be watching for that on my social media, and I will get that posted soon. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you guys be free to go. Thank you so much for joining me today. And hopefully I will see you guys all again soon. Have a great rest of your week.